Hello and welcome to the Stronghold of Sorrow. This is the Jackson. I'm the ruler of the Stronghold. I'm just making a few last second adjustments here. 8 random Sims are about to have their world turned upside down, shaken, torched, and starved. All 8 victims will be thrown into the Stronghold, a closed-in area with the most minimal survival tools available. There will be special ways to gain advantages daily, and whoever can do so the most may be lucky enough to be the last man or woman standing. Each contestant is randomly selected, and every individual will bring their own unique skill set and personality, with 5 randomly generated traits, 1 from each major category. Some will clash. Some may even coincidentally already be friends or enemies. Who knows? You're about to find out, so let's go ahead and meet the selections. Victim number 1. Billy Wilson, a simple country boy at heart. All he ever wants to do really is work with vehicles, and if you're looking for Billy, you can find him under his Dodge Ram just tinkering away. Billy's a high school dropout who went straight into the mechanic business, but do not let his education fool you. He's much smarter than he appears. So let's break down Billy a little bit here. Obviously a male, he works as a mechanic, and his first trait is that he's handy. That will actually make him a useful tool for when stuff breaks down in the survival area. He's a light sleeper, a supernatural skeptic. Don't know how that'll come into play, but it's definitely possible. He's a vehicle enthusiast, and he loves the outdoors, which could help considering there is no roof. Alright, victim number 2 is Heather Foxworthy. Heather is your stereotypical pretty blonde girl. She has it all, the looks, charm, but how about a brain? Though I'm not quite sure of the latter. She will possess an advantage with the ability to distract the men and maybe even a few women. Who knows, as she is quite irresistible. Obviously a female, she works as a waitress, and her first trait is that she's absent-minded. Her second is being clumsy, not a great start. Third trait is that she's a great kisser. Fourth, she's ambitious, and fifth, irresistible. So who knows, maybe her distraction and her attraction to the other people will be her ticket out of here alive. Who knows? Victim number 3, Bradley Bennett. Brad, a creative, brave veterinarian who also has the looks to accompany his other traits. The women should have a lot of trouble keeping from becoming attached here. Bradley's a well-educated man, but is a little full of himself and a bit hyperactive. We all have to have some downsides though, right? Alright, so let's break down Brad. He's a male, works as a veterinarian. His first trait is that he's eccentric. He's brave, flirty, a cat person, and irresistible. So he is kind of like a smarter version of Heather. So we'll see how that plays out. Very interesting. Cat person. I don't really see how that's going to come into play, but you never know. Victim number 4, Stephen Hudson. Stephen Hudson, a little down on his luck. He lost his job as a manager at a local Arby's. Convinced a full-on conspiracy with the Arby's higher-ups was to blame, Stephen locked himself in his mother's basement with his computer and began planning the downfall of the U.S. government. Stephen does not get along well with people, as most social interactions end with the other person walking away steam due to nasty remarks by Steve. Sims better be careful around Stephen. He's not a stable dude. Alright, so Stephen Hudson, a male, he's unemployed. His first trait is that he is unstable. Second trait, he is hot-headed. Trait number 3, he is mean-spirited. Trait number 4, he's a kleptomaniac. Trait number 5, the dude's insane. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of our loose cannon, you know. He's a skinny, tall dude who is going to be freaking out on people. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but definitely need to keep an eye on Steven, as he has trouble keeping his head cool, you know, in normal situations. So throwing him into this, who knows what's going to happen. Victim number 5, Erin Dumont. Erin Dumont is your typical hipster. Yup, she's just always been a bit more into indie-style music as she sips on her soy latte. Beware though, she's not very pleasant to be around, as she also maintains a grumpy demeanor and is constantly talking herself up due to her, as she says, superior taste. This sim is not likely to make many friends here, but hey, why should you? Only one will survive, right? Alright, so Erin Dumont. She's a female. She works in retail. Her first trait, she is avant-garde. Second trait, she's lucky. Trait 3, grumpy. Fourth trait, she's a vegetarian. Fifth trait, she's creative. And she is actually like, this is an interesting one that we need to keep an eye on. Her being lucky and creative is going to give her a big advantage in games and painting right off the bat, which is a big part of the challenges. So I'm curious to see how that'll go. But at the same time, she's a vegetarian, so that means when the stock is running low in the fridge, is she going to be able to eat some meat? That could go really bad for her if that's the only thing left. I mean, this is going to be interesting. She has a lot of bad things going for her, but at the same time, she has those talents that will help get her through. Now, victim number 6. This is Robert Fox. Bob Fox, an athletic genius. That doesn't quite sound right, does it? But it is true. Robert has 3 PhDs, including one in his current field of work, physics. And he's also played Division I college basketball. Though his mental and physical abilities give him a bit of an advantage, his adventurous side often gets him into trouble. He also finds it hard to put his social skills to work, which will make it tough for him to take advantage of his intellect when trying to manipulate others. Oh, but always watch your back around this guy. I kind of forgot to mention, he's evil. So let's break down Bobby Fox here. He's a male. His occupation right now, he's an astrophysicist. His first trait is genius. Second trait, athletic. Third trait, shy. And fourth trait, adventurous. And his last trait is evil. So we covered all that in his description. That's going to be an interesting character to follow here. Alright, victim number 7, Stella Basarova. Stella is an actress who was born and she lived out her first 18 years in Russia. She came over to the US and pursued her dream as an actress and has succeeded thus far. With a great experience in world culture and her book smarts, she studies her way into anything and can transform herself completely. Other Sims may need to be careful around her. She may actually be someone she's not. So she's going to be interesting socially. Her traits, she's an actress. She's a bookworm, heavy sleeper, a natural-born performer. Trait 4 is that she's a night owl. And her 5th trait, she is also creative. This will be an interesting character as well, who is less reliant on natural physical talent and is more of a hard worker and book-smart type person. And our last victim, victim number 8, Donna Burkhalter. Donna is one secretary you probably won't find the boss fooling around with. She's not very good looking and is about 100 pounds overweight. She's also very messy. The one thing going for her is her speaking skills, and Donna, well, she's a pretty funny chick. Hopefully those extra energy reserves will come in handy. Now, Donna, she works as an office secretary. Her first trait is that she's excitable. Trait 2 is slob. Trait 3, she has a good sense of humor. Fourth trait, she's hot-headed. And trait 5, she's charismatic. So she does have exemplary social skills, but she does have a temper, so you can get to her, which will probably, which is another weakness. And that wraps all that up. So let's get on to describing how this game will work. First off, let me give you guys the goal. The goal is to be the last survivor. There is no quitting and no leaving the Stronghold of Sorrow until there is a winner. The only way to lose out is to die. Other than staying in the area that the ruler of the Stronghold designates for any individual sim, there are absolutely no rules for the Sims. Do whatever you can to survive. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover the rules and guidelines. So generally all Sims will be left on free will and will only be individually controlled if the ruler is initiating a challenge, reward, or punishment. So basically I want to leave them on free will and so we can observe what they do to survive. I think that's going to be the big fun part about it, the coolest part to see. Rule 2, the ruler also reserves the right to turn off free will to freeze all Sims if there is a need to restore order. There will also be a few other occasions that I'll need to do that, a few other situations that'll be used for. which is why I reserve the right to do that. Now, rule 3, a challenge will be randomly selected every day at 4 p.m. The challenge selected will be commenced shortly after selection. Now, I'll explain how the random selection will work at the end of this rule summary. Rule number 4, each challenge will contain 2 contestants. These will also be randomly selected. No sim can be selected for a challenge twice in a row, so that means if Bradley was in a challenge yesterday on Tuesday, today's Wednesday, and it's 4 p.m., we're about to have a challenge, lands on his number, nope, we select again until we hit somebody who wasn't in the challenge on the previous day. Rule 5, each challenge must end with at least one loser. The only way that the other outcome would be that both sims would die, meaning there's 2 losers. The winner will receive a randomly selected reward, while the loser will receive a randomly selected punishment, and you're about to learn about both of those things and what they are in just a few minutes. Rule 6, if a sim dies during a challenge, the other will be rewarded with the win. So if somebody dies, it's just like that person lost their challenge, so the other person will go ahead and get their reward regardless of how they performed. And the last rule that I have right now is when the fridge runs out of food, it will be replaced with a new fridge 24 hours later after I spot the fact that it's empty. So I may not spot it for a while, but regardless, whenever the ruler sees that the fridge is empty, it will be replaced with a new one 24 hours later. And that's that. Okay. Because I want to make sure that, a food type, a hunger type strategy comes into play, especially whenever there's a bunch of people still alive. Okay, now with this asterisk, I kind of explain how the random selection will work. All random selections will be made using the random number generator on random.org. So each challenge has its own corresponding number with it. You're about to learn those. Same thing with the rewards, punishments, and even the sims. Sim selections will use their victim number, as you guys learned whenever I showed you the selections. So each person has their corresponding number. Now, let's go ahead. Now that you know the rules and you kind of get the idea of what this is going to be, let's learn about the Stronghold of Sorrow. So let's go in. I'm going to go ahead and go down here and turn this off. And the first, number 1 area is the survival zone, which is this big room right here. I'm going to kind of show you everything within it. Area A in the survival zone is the primary area, which you can see here has the kitchen, the chem table, the training facility here where you've got a guitar, you've got a bookshelf and workout equipment. You've got a nice little dining table with 2 chairs. You got the trash can and the also the mailbox, so we can pay bills, and they need to be entertained. And area B here is the sleeping quarters. There's one single bed here in this small closed-in space, and that's all that they have. Over here, we have Area C, the shower room, which is a small 4-square area with a shower. Next to it, we have the toilet room, yay, which is pretty closed in. There's 2 squares here, one of them being taken up by the toilet, so there's 1 square to stand in. That could be a very high traffic area at times. And then there's the help room, which contains a phone and a computer. It will remain locked at all times and will only be unlocked to an individual if... I just put that in there as just in case we need to do something. We need to call a service, or if a fire starts outside and it's really dragging on and it's not really in play, and we need to call the fire department to get it out so we can get into buy mode and whatnot. Just, and any kind of situation like that. Okay, now the challenge arena, which is next door. You can see here it's dirt. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the survival zone is not roofed in any way, so they will be surviving the weather conditions as well, as will be the main challenge area here. So the primary challenge arena, let's go ahead and take a look. We have a bowling alley, a bowling lane I should say, skee ball here, we've got horseshoes, we've got 2 easels. This right here, let me get the walls up, this is the octagon right here where fights will go down. And so let's see. Yeah, the octagon, that's area C. Area B, however, is the mood room here, and that's if, for whatever reason, they have one thing or a couple things that are holding them down from if they can't do a challenge, which I don't foresee that being happening very often. I had this room placed in here just in case. We had the room and wanted to just make sure that we don't get stalled up by people not being able to do challenges, and at the same time not having to take them in here where it could be things could be unavailable, could get in the way, and I don't want to let them into this area over here, which you're about to learn about. And right here, the last area is Hell's Kitchen, where the Hell's Kitchen challenge, the cooking challenge, will take place. You can see there's two areas where they will face off. Pretty cool. Alright, so now let's get into Nirvana, which I was about to tell you about, aka the rewards chamber. Now, the first area in here that you need to learn about is the Death Note room, which is this tiny room here. Will be kept locked at all times. It is a special reward. You can see the Death Note right here, the notebook, and that is a really cool mod that I got for this, where you can write down a name of any sim on the lot and they die. So that's a reward. Now, separate is the actual living quarters of Nirvana. So you've got a nice, beautiful kitchen here. You have a giant TV here, a nice couch and sitting area. Wonderful bathroom. You've got your own bed here, and a fancy bed. You've got your computer there. And over here, a wonderful, fancy-ass hot tub. And so there's that. That is Nirvana, which will probably become a coveted place to go for Sims. And then let's move over here. Both of these areas, by the way, being connected to the challenge arena. We have the punishment chamber. Ooh, it's a hallway here with 3 different rooms. First room you can see here. This is solitary confinement, 4-block space where Sims will be locked into for punishments. Area B, the pool, where we'll put them in to swim and conveniently, for us, not for them, place a wall right here. Keep them in there swimming for the designated amount of time. And right here you can see the torture chamber, which is, you can see it doesn't look like a very happy place. And that will contain one of the punishments. And also, let me add in a few extra things about the place. This will be the graveyard. I plan on having, if this goes well at all, I think it's fun, so I'll probably do it anyway, as I really love doing this. It's a lot of fun to do, just to have kind of a sim competition. It's pretty fun to watch. This is the graveyard, so each time a sim will die, we're going to keep a designated area for each season. And we'll be able to look back on seasons in the past to see all the old classic dead people. Isn't that nice? Oh, and here's the car. It's only used for one of the rewards, which you'll learn about in a second. And also up front, I'm planning on having a victory, because there's going to be a survivor, so we're not going to have a gravestone for them to remember them. So in the front, we're going to put an object that we deem appropriate for that person. So say that person won because they were about to die, they were starving, but they went in and made an amazing painting, and it saved them. And maybe we put their painting up here. But for each winner of each season, they'll have their own little spot. It'll go along by season, and they'll have an object representing them to show that they won, which I think will be pretty cool. So, with that, you've learned a little bit about the Stronghold of Sorrow. So let's move on to the challenges and learn about them. So you can see here, challenge 1 is called Have At It. 2 members are selected using a random number generator, or I should say the random number generator, and must fight in the octagon until a victor emerges. It's pretty cool. And that one's pretty straightforward. We'll throw them in the octagon, and I have a mod. I can make them enemies. They'll fight automatically, and the winner gets a reward, loser gets the punishment. 2, we have bowling. Two members will be selected using the random number generator, our god, the random number generator, and must both bowl one frame. Sim with the best frame wins. If there's a tie, we'll continue frame by frame until there isn't a tie. Okay, skee ball number 3. Two members will be selected using the random number generator and must play skee ball. Each person gets 3 rolls per round. The top corner holes, they count as 2 points. Let's go ahead and I'll show you that. So these two, they'll count as 2 points, and these 3 in the middle will count as 1 point. So any roll that doesn't make it into any of these, even if it goes into what we know still gives you points in real life, just to make it easy for us to count, that counts as 0. Everything that doesn't go into one of these holes counts as 0. First sim to win a round wins the contest. Okay, now we have horseshoes. Number 4, horseshoes here. Two randomly selected contestants they'll get 3 throws at a time. Getting a ringer, which is getting the horseshoe around the stake, counts as 2 points, while just hitting the stake counts as 1 point. It's not actual horseshoe rules, obviously, but this is The Sims, and we're just trying to make this fun and easy to score. After the first round of throws, the contestant with the most points wins. If tied, contestants retry the round until there's a winner. So same idea. Okay, number 5, Paint It Picasso is what it's called. Get the walls down here. Two members are selected using the random number generator. Both contestants begin a small painting on their own easel, so they'll be back to back facing off. They'll both paint the small painting. After both pictures are completed, they will be sold in buy mode. The most expensive painting wins. If they tie, we'll do it again. Same idea. Keep going. And the last challenge, certainly not least, probably my favorite one. I think it's pretty cool. I like all the challenges, but this one is pretty cool to me because I'm a fan of the show. Obviously, this is inspired by the show Hell's Kitchen, and it's called Hell's Kitchen. Two randomly selected Sims will both approach the kitchen area located in the challenge arena. Both Sims will be instructed to prepare the highest level meal that they both know to cook. So we'll look at what they can cook, and it has to be something that actually has to be cooked, heated. Nothing that can just be brought out and prepared without heating. And so if if one of them can prepare, I don't know, sauteed or poached lobster, and one of them can make waffles, we'll have to do waffles. And, likely the other person who can do lobster will win, but hey. So, whatever the highest level meal that they both can do, or the most interesting one that they both can do, we'll make them do that, so to make it fair. The sim with the highest quality meal rating wins. If we tied, we repeat it, just like everything else. So yeah, when you cook, if you don't already know, the meal itself actually has a quality rating from how the sim actually prepared it, which is more likely to be a better quality if their cooking level is higher. So, but it is at random a bit, so it's not always a sure thing. Just because you have higher cooking skill, you may accidentally burn it that time, so you never know what's going to happen. So we'll put them head to head in that, and of course the winner will get a reward and the loser will get a punishment. Speaking of which, let's get into rewards. So the first reward is that the sim will receive a blessing in 24 hours from there. So when the next challenge is being selected, after it's selected, they'll receive their blessing. And what a blessing is, I have a mod on here called, I think it's called Disasters and Blessings, or Blessings and Disasters, I can't remember. But it basically raises all of their mood things up, and I don't know if it extends it and makes them very happy for a certain amount of time. I can't remember what it does, but at the very least, it raises everything up, so it's a very useful thing. Reward number 2. You just get to give a random punishment to your least liked sim. So you'll use the random generator to generate a punishment for their least liked sim, which will go by what the relationship rating is for all this other sims here. And if their least liked sim is one they just competed with, then it goes to the next person that they least like. So they'll be that person that they just beat will also get a punishment, and then their next least like will also get a punishment, which is pretty interesting. Probably not the best reward you want because it doesn't help you survive, but it does eliminate competition. Helps eliminate competition. Reward number 3, 12 hours in Nirvana, and you get to eliminate the least liked sim with Death Note. So we'll look at their relationship thing again. Least liked sim, sorry, you're dead. It's gone. And you also get 12 hours in Nirvana, which is nice. Reward 4 is you receive a blessing immediately. So as soon as it's over, you get a blessing. Reward number 5, 24 hours in Nirvana. That's very nice. You get to get away from it all for a whole day, up until the next challenge. And the good thing is you don't have to compete in the next challenge, so you'll be pretty well off for the next day after that too. Reward number 6. You get immunity from your next punishment, which includes Death Note. And so if somebody wins and they get the Death Note reward, and this sim happens to be the least like, if they have immunity from their next punishment, whoops, gets passed to the next least liked of the person who got that. So that can be pretty useful. It's not going to help your own survival necessarily, but it can save your life. It can help you avoid a quick death. Reward number 7. It is receive a blessing immediately, and you take a vacation to the bookstore and you max a random useful skill, which includes logic, bowling, painting, pool, athletic, charisma, handiness, cooking. And so I took those skills out of ones that could possibly be useful in general survival, and also with mainly the challenges. And we'll randomly generate that too, and in order of what it's listed in there. So logic is 1, bowling's 2, painting's 3, so on and so on. Reward number 8, you get 24 hours in Nirvana, and you eliminate your least liked sim with Death Note. So that's just a reward number 3, 12 hours in Nirvana and Death Note on steroids. It's an even better one. So you get the full day in Nirvana, and you get to eliminate your least liked sim with Death Note. Okay, now for punishments. So, punishment number 1, you get 12 hours of solitary confinement. That's enough to make you go crazy, and could possibly kill you. Punishment number 2 is burn. With that mod, you have the option to click on a sim and just catch them on fire. So what we'll do is we'll take them back into the general population, catch them on fire, and that could be dangerous to other sims too. But it's also not so bad, because if there's a brave sim, Bradley, if he happens to be alive and in there, he can put the fire out, but then there's also a chance other sims can catch on fire, and if you don't get put out, you could die. So there's that. Burn could be hit or miss as a punishment. Okay, punishment number 3, 6 hours of forced swim. This one could be really, really rough, because you could be in decent energy shape and still die from this, because it's 6 hours of swim, which is very tiring. That's a rough one. Punishment number 4 is the torture chamber. You'll get thrown in there, and we'll do a various number of things to the sim. We'll probably do a combination of some of this stuff. It won't be a fun time. That's kind of one I'm reserving for us to kind of decide on the fly what we want to do to the sim, but we'll probably do it to him in the torture chamber. Okay, punishment number 5 is death, where you die. You're done. It's not a good one to get. There's no chance of you surviving at that point. There's on the mod, there's an option to starve to death immediately, and we'll just do that. Okay. Punishment number 6 is an embarrassing one, but is one you'll probably want to get considering most of the others. Make pee self. Pretty self-explanatory. It's also part of the mod. You can make a person pee themselves. Their hygiene immediately goes 0. And that's about all that happens. Now for punishment number 7. 3 hours of forced swim. Less harsh of the punishment number 3, where you have 6 hours of forced swim. This can be very deadly and can finish off people with low energy. So if you're with low energy, you definitely you're in trouble, because you have 2 options now that can kill you for sure with the swims. And punishment number 8 is make ugly. It's very funny. It's part of the mod, and it makes their face all distorted and weird goblinish looking, and you're made ugly. So that's probably one it's one of those where you really don't want to get that if you put yourself in the shoes of a sim, because it ruins your face forever. But hey, it's not really going to do anything to you as far as surviving. You're still going to be fine. You're not going to be any worse off than before as far as your mood and everything. So, now that you've learned about everything, this will conclude this episode, the first one of Sims 3 Sudden Death Survival. You have learned how this is going to work. I hope you're excited. I know I am. I'm ready to start. The next episode will be coming out soon, where we will actually start, and you'll see the first day. I think each episode will kind of show the course of a day and the events that happen over each day. We'll see how that goes, actually, but that's what I would guess would be the protocol. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you're excited for this series, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and comment. Tell me what you think. Who you've got your money on. Tell me who you want to win. Tell me who you think's gonna win. Have you made any connections with any of the characters? I have. I'll let you guys know. I'm kind of rooting for one, I'm rooting for Robert Fox. He's my favorite. I like Robert. He's my favorite. And I also do like I like Steven. I think he's an interesting character. I mean, and Billy Wilson, of course. And I like Stella Bazarova. But definitely Robert Fox is my favorite. And my pick to win, who am I going to pick to win? Let's see. Not Donna, not Stella. I'm actually not going to pick Robert. I think he's going to get some nonsense. Like, it's not going to have anything to do with his talent. He's just going to have some bad luck and go out. Don't think it'll be Steven. Brad could have a good chance. I'd say it's going to be Billy Wilson or Brad. I'm going to pick Billy. I'm picking Billy. I like Billy. So I want Robert Fox to win, and I'm picking Billy Wilson. I do think the women do have a decent chance for sure. I'm just not picking them. Being biased, I guess. I definitely can't pick Heather, and I'm not picking Donna. So I could pick Stella, and I do think Aaron DeMont has some good skills. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of them won. But picking Billy, hope Robert wins. Let's get this thing going. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.